Okay, so this um, the video is for the worksheet called Scatterplots. I wanted to introduce it and just talk a little bit about it. The worksheet that you should have says Scatterplots. It should only be 6 problems front side. Okay, I wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of it, but not go into any kind of depth at all. This will be purely enough. Now, a scatter plot in statistics is a way of um, graphing relationships between two different variables. It's also referred to as a bivariate plot. Okay, now as you look at the exercises, okay, they're asking you to do two things. Okay, first of all, is there a correlation? Okay, it could be positive, could be negative, or maybe there isn't one. If there is, we want to know, is the relationship linear, quadratic, or exponential? Okay, now, um, so with that in mind, let me just give you a few examples. Okay, um, if you see a graph that has, excuse me, a bunch of dots on it, but they seemingly have no pattern at all to them. Okay, so they're just all over the place. Okay, we would say that this thing has no correlation. No correlation. Okay, so that's pretty easy to identify. Now, some of the other ones, not so much. Okay, so if we have a bunch of dots that appear to have a little bit of a pattern, again, just a pattern, they don't have to be exact. So if you see something like this, okay, data is going to be pretty variable. Okay, so it's going to fluctuate a little bit from one to the next. If you see something like this, okay, I can say because it increases over the left to right, this thing has a positive correlation. Okay, same thing can happen. In an example, we can do this. Okay, this one has a negative correlation. Okay, but both of them appear to form some sort of a line. Okay, because they form a line, okay, we can say that the correlation is linear. Okay, so positive and linear for this example. Okay, negative and linear for this example. Okay, so linear is one type of example, okay, that it goes with these different correlations. Okay, so positive and linear, negative and linear, etc. Now, here are the other types. So let's say we have an example that shows a definite pattern, but the pattern forms a curve. Okay, so if I have something that does this, for example, um, you're going to see some of these look just like ones in the examples, so I'm not going to hide anything here. Okay, it appears to go up and then it starts to change and it almost starts to come back down. Okay, this does have a relationship, it does have a correlation. Okay, because it's going up then down like this, it's pointing down. We're going to call this a negative correlation. Excuse me, we're going to call this a positive correlation because it's going up and then up first. And because of the curve and it starts to come down, we're going to call this quadratic. Okay, recall from our previous work that quadratics are shaped like parabolas. And that's kind of what this is doing here. Okay, so this is a positive and quadratic relationship. Okay, if it did this, Okay, there's negative and quadratic. Okay, negative and quadratic. Now, there's a couple that are similar to this, though, that we have to be careful about. Okay, so if we know the graph does this, okay, this time I'm going to have the graph go like this. You can see it starts low and then shoots up. Okay, this is an example of positive and exponential. Okay, exponential shoots up. Okay, as it goes across. The same thing is true if it starts high and then goes down low, like this. This is negative and exponential. Okay, so once we've determined whether it has positive, negative, or no correlation, okay, the other terms that go with it are going to be either linear, quadratic, or exponential. Okay, so looking at two examples here, okay, look at number 3. Of the 6 problems here, the first 4, all they want you to do is determine, is there a correlation? If so, what kind? So on number 3, I see it increasing. It hits a peak and then it comes back down a little bit. I don't know what happens past that, but it's not going up anymore. Okay, because it's kind of flattening out like this, getting ready to come back down. I'm going to call this positive. Okay, and then from there also then I'm going to call this quadratic. This is positive and quadratic. Okay, now the only other instance, 5 and 6, is they want you to graph the information first, and then from that graph you're going to state the same things: positive, negative, no correlation, linear, quadratic, exponential. Okay, so again, once you get the dots put on the graph, okay, then it's going to be just like you did before. I will show you a little bit what number 6 looks like when you're done. Okay, so here's number 6. When you get done putting all of the dots on the graph, you get this, which to me clearly shows there is no pattern. So no pattern means no correlation. No correlation, you're done. Okay, so that should be a short, sweet, quick little way to finish up this unit, and we'll go on from there.